Reading tonight's land acknowledgement will be Commissioner Eng.
Thank you, Chair. We begin by acknowledging that the land on which we gather, currently known as the City of West Hollywood, is the occupied, unceded seized territory of the Gabrielino Tongva and Gabrielino Quiche peoples.
Thank you, Commissioner Eng. And doing our pledge tonight is Commissioner Nichols.
Please rise if you can.
Thank you. May I please get a roll call, Commission Secretary?
Yes. Commissioner Blau.
Aye.
Commissioner Eng.
Here.
Commissioner Hallman.
Here.
Commissioner Nickel.
Here.
Commissioner Pilarski.
Here.
Commissioner Post.
Here.
Vice Chair Harrison.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Item number 4 on the agenda is the approval of the agenda. Are there any changes to tonight's agenda for July 28th, 2025?
Yeah, I just had a point of order. It might be best for staff to answer, but in terms of just agendizing items, I just want to be transparent. Is the best way for us to do that, and the only way for us to do that is through a vote here on the commission. I just wanted to confirm that that's the best way to agendize an item. I know staff will often bring us items, but making sure, I think specifically I'm thinking of the recent fire response report that was presented to City Council. I know that's something that I would love to see come here and have a discussion, even if that's already been presented to Council. So I can save that until the end during public comment if that's the best time to agendize those, but I just wanted to clarify that from my standpoint.
Yeah, thank you, Commissioner Post. So Danny Rivas, Director of Community Safety for the City of West Hollywood. So yeah, the best time would be comments from commissioners, and so that would be the appropriate time to raise a question or an inquiry.
Awesome. Thank you.
Sure.
Okay, with that, can I have a motion to approve the agenda?
Motion to approve.
Second?
Seconded.
Okay. May I please get a roll call, Commission Secretary?
Commissioner Blau.
Aye.
Commissioner Eng.
Aye.
Commissioner Hallman.
Aye.
Commissioner Nickel.
Aye.
Commissioner Pilarski.
Aye.
Commissioner Post.
Aye.
Vice Chair Harrison.
Aye.
The agenda is approved.
Item 5 on the agenda is the approval of the minutes. Are there any changes to the minutes for June 16th, 2025? Staff or Commission? Do I have a motion to approve the minutes?
Move to approve.
Second.
May I please have a roll call, Commission Secretary?
Commissioner Blau.
Aye.
Commissioner Eng.
Aye.
Commissioner Hallman.
Aye.
Commissioner Nickel.
Aye.
Commissioner Pilarski.
Aye.
Commissioner Post.
Aye.
Vice Chair Harrison.
Aye.
The minutes are approved.
Next section is public comments. It's number 6. Commission Secretary, do we have any speakers at this time? Or do we have any callers on Zoom?
Yes, actually we have both. We have 2 Zoom callers and the rest of the callers or the rest of the comments are in chambers. Where would you like to start?
Let's start with Zoom.
Okay, so first caller is Michael Vojkolevich. Michael, if you are on the line, please unmute yourself. You will have 3 minutes. Michael, can you hear us? Okay, we will circle back with Michael. Let's go to the next Zoom caller, Lynn Hoppengarner. Lynn, if you are on the line, if you would like to unmute yourself, you will have 3 minutes.
Good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, thank you. My name is Lynn Huppengarner. I'm here as a resident and as a friend of Lake Ackerman's mother, Robin. This conversation about safety on Fountain Avenue has been going on for years. Councilmember Meister first introduced this as an item over 5 years ago. It is time we take immediate action to address the speed of cars and catch the scofflaws. While staff goes through yet another iteration of a plan that will do very little to improve safety, especially for pedestrians, and will take more years to implement, the city could immediately institute cameras and speed traps to address safety today. It's time to institute a comprehensive safety improvement plan instead of putting lipstick on a pig. It's disingenuous for city council members who voted to deprioritize Fountain Avenue in the capital plan to tell the community that painted on bike lanes are going to solve the problem of speeding cars, and to say that residents of Fountain can just park on Gardner when those same council members voted to remove 66% of the parking on Gardner is frankly gobsmacking. It is time for an adult conversation that addresses the complexity of this safety issue and not try to use paint to address a car speed and safety issue. And furthermore, I think it's time that transportation and public safety work together. As community members, I have people coming to me and saying, why is it that when I bring something to public safety, they say I have to go to transportation? And why when I go to transportation, they say I have to go to public safety? We need to have some clarity and some initiative to move forward on this in a comprehensive way. This is not a black and white solution. Life is gray. It's time to come up with some thorough, well thought out solutions. Thank you.
Thank you, Lynn. Let's check to see if Michael Vojkolevich is available. Michael, if you can hear me, please unmute yourself. You'll have 3 minutes.
Yes, can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you.
Hear me now. Okay, I'm asking the chair if I can speak at the last round of public comment after the new chair and vice chair are elected.
That's okay? Okay. Yes, we can do that.
Thank you.
Sorry. Okay, so we'll begin public comments here in chambers. First speaker is Yola Dore. If you want to approach the podium, you will have 3 minutes.
Good evening, Commissioners. Yola Dore, 30-year resident of West Hollywood. And good evening, staff and honored guests. Sorry about that. July is Disabilities Pride Month. It was made such in connection and to honor the Americans with Disabilities Act, which was signed 35 years ago in the month of July. West Hollywood is taking on a project very near and dear to my heart called Engage WeHo. I've provided you with a paper, a document about that. Many people do not understand the Americans with Disabilities Act, know how important it is. It provides for accessibility, which is a big word, accessibility on the sidewalks of our walkable city, accessibility to the internet, accessibility to jobs, transportation, and beyond. The other key word here is accommodation. If you saw tonight when I came in, they accommodate me by letting me sit in the disabled seating there so my transportation won't be in everybody's way, and so that I might plug in my oxygen at each one of these meetings and might have an opportunity to participate. I ask you tonight to consider looking at Engage WeHo. Consider it a special thing, because persons with disabilities would like to participate in every moment and every part of life in our special city, the city we love. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Yola. Next, we have Tali Peretz. If you want to approach the podium, you will have 3 minutes.
Good evening, Commissioners. Thank you for the opportunity to leave a public comment today. My name is Tali Peretz, and I'm the Marketing and Partnerships Lead at WISP, a public safety and wellness startup addressing a rising and often underreported threat in our communities, drink spiking. Far too often, people feel vulnerable in social settings like bars, clubs, and parties. One moment of distraction can lead to a traumatic experience. WISP was created to change that. Our core product is a wand-like device that uses laser-based technology, typically found in labs, to scan drinks in seconds. It detects spiking drugs like GHB and GBL without the need for chemicals or single-use tests. It connects to a mobile app where users receive instant results, log where and when they tested, and see the outcome, including any substances detected. If a drink is flagged, the app can also trigger an SOS alert to notify a personalized contact list. It's fast, discreet, and designed for real-world use. We've launched pilots at several major universities, including USC, WashU, and the University of Maryland, partnering with Greek organizations and student leaders. Students are using WISP not only to stay safer at their events, but to actively lead a shift towards preventative safety culture on their campuses. You'll hear more from Sophie, our lead USC ambassador, about how WISP is being used on her own campus here in Los Angeles. As we grow, we're looking to expand WISP into bars, clubs, and nightlife venues, places where proactive tools like ours can have immediate impact. Our ask is for your support. We're seeking a partnership with the Commission to bring local venues into this movement, and your backing as we begin reaching out to bars, clubs, and clubs to implement WISP as part of their commitment to keeping patrons safe. Thank you again for your time, and I look forward to building a safer future together.
Thank you, Tali. Next, we have Sophie Golshani. If you want to approach the podium, you will have 3 minutes.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for introducing me, Tali. My name is Sophie Golshani, and I have my Whisper Wand with me here today. I've had the opportunity to watch WISP grow from the ground up and watch them partner with organizations and communities around the world, completely transforming their cultures. After attending a few networking events here in West Hollywood, I was able to feel the genuine excitement from members of the Chambers of Commerce and other commissioners on different councils, many of whom believe that WISP would be a great match for the city and that it would provide a necessary layer of safety that our vibrant West Hollywood community needs. Because of their guidance, Tali and I are here today to speak about WISP with you all. I'm a rising senior at the University of Southern California, and through talking with friends on campus and at other universities across the country, I have realized just how significant of a threat drink spiking has become. For example, I lived in a quad last year with 3 other roommates, and two of them have had their drinks spiked more than once since college started. The first thing we think of before walking into an event is not to take a drink from a stranger and to watch yours at all times, which makes us scared, defensive, and vulnerable. I was able to lead WISP's partnerships with various sororities, including my own, at USC and around the country, and I've been able to witness firsthand what an incredible impact it has had on the culture of our campuses. WISP is the most advanced drink spiking detection technology that will exist on the market. It has helped countless individuals feel more in control of their safety, health, and wellness, all while increasing positive connection with those around them. But through the pilot, I've seen that it is more than a piece of technology. It's a movement. In the face of some scary realities in our world, it encourages us to be proactive. WISP has empowered me and countless members of my community to lead spaces with more trust, courage, and confidence. And I'm very excited to get the opportunity to share this movement with you all today. We're here to bring awareness that a product like this exists, it can truly save lives, and we hope to see it in bars and venues across West Hollywood. Thank you so much for letting us speak with you today.
Thank you, Sophie. Next, we have Steve Martin. If you want to approach the podium, you'll have 3 minutes.
Good evening, Commissioners. Steve Martin, West Hollywood. National Night Out is next Tuesday, and we hope to all see you at the East Side Neighborhood Watch event. We will be celebrating summer, baseball, the boys of summer, the girls of summer, and the boys that want to be girls in the summer. So we're really looking forward to seeing you all and having a chance to, I know there'll be quick conversations, but it's just great when you guys are visible out in the community for our residents to see, right along with all our other all the first responders. I want to thank our sponsors for this event, particularly Orange Barrel Media, Big Dick's Hot Dogs, who you probably know from Robertson, Fat Burger, Dog City, West Hollywood, Donnie Casey at 7-Eleven in Kersan, Tashin, Rainbow Bar and Grill, Astro Burger, and the always reliable Trader Joe's. So anyway, come and join us, and we look forward to seeing you, and have a hot dog. Thanks.
Thanks, Steve. Next, we have Kevin Burton. If you want to approach the podium, you will have 3 minutes.
Good evening, Commissioners. Kevin Burton, City of West Hollywood. And I just wanted to let you know, and the community know if you haven't heard already, that there will be a community meeting on August 19th to discuss the planned safety improvements on the streetscape of Fountain Avenue. And a lot of details on those proposals will be provided at that meeting, and they will serve to, I think, correct a number of serious misconceptions we've already heard tonight about how they will improve safety for drivers and pedestrians and bicyclists. So I hope everybody will come. And one of the proposals is for protected bike lanes, one of several parts of the proposals. Those protections are far more than paint, and had they been in place on July 10th, they would undoubtedly have saved the life of Blake Ackerman. And I might be stealing someone's thunder here, I don't know, since you don't have an agendized agenda item. I would request that this commission adjourn in memory of Blake Ackerman, who was killed by a careless driver that night. Thank you.
Thank you, Kevin. Next, we have Nick Renteria. If you want to approach the podium, you will have 3 minutes.
Good evening, Commissioners. My name is Nick Renteria. I'm a biker here in West Hollywood, and I was hit by a car actually on Santa Monica Boulevard. I think that's why Blake Ackerman's death really hit close to home, and I chose to stand with that sign that said, "This street kills" on Fountain after Blake Ackerman passed, because I think this issue extends far beyond Fountain Avenue. I think Fountain Avenue is just the ugly head of this issue, but the reality is only a week earlier, Erica Edwards was killed in a hit and run as well, this one on Sunset Boulevard. All of our streets are very dangerous. And as a biker, I've seen it firsthand, the treatment that we receive and the way that we are expected to somehow make space for ourselves when there's no space to be made. There's no space provided for us. And so I would like us to think further than just Fountain Avenue and think about how Santa Monica Boulevard, which is where I was hit by a car while biking, Sunset Boulevard, which killed Erica Edwards, and Fountain Avenue, those streets all need to be considered for similar redesigns. And I think that with pressure from public safety, that could be accomplished. And I think to really drive home this point, I just want to share a few statistics, which is that West Hollywood is currently, according to the California Office of Traffic Safety, number 1 in crashes involving a pedestrian, number 1 in crashes involving a motorcycle, number 1 in crashes that happen at night, and number 1 in hit and runs. I think that's unacceptable. We are a city that leads, and this is not where we should be leading our state. Overall, we rank 7th out of 90 cities for injuries and deaths from traffic crashes. Thank you.
Thank you, Nick. Next, we have Stephanie Harker. If you want to approach the podium, you'll have 3 minutes.
Good evening, Stephanie Harker, City of West Hollywood. I'm here to bring up safety on Fountain, as I have done on several other occasions, but sadly to no avail. While there are still many debates going on about bike lanes on Fountain, the feasibility of them, the plan for them, and the timeline for them, I and members of the community, in ever-increasing numbers, implore you and the city to do something now. As you may or may not know, Councilmember Meister was a public safety commissioner and a member of the Planning Commission prior to her almost 12 years on the council. In all that time in public service, she has made safety in all areas a priority. In fact, she and former Councilmember D'Amico brought an agenda item forth years ago regarding safety issues on Fountain, but somehow the city did not go forward with that. I feel it is time, I feel it is imperative that before the bike lane project, which is presented as a panacea for safety, can be implemented, we must install every other possible safety measure and traffic calming measure that the city can quickly engineer on an urgent basis. Many traffic lights, more traffic lights, traffic signals, traffic circles at the main intersections, cameras at each signal like one suggested to you into a petition that was going to be presented tonight. I don't know if they made it here, but there are 320 signatures on a petition to install a red light at the intersection where Blake Ackerman lost his life. More flashing caution lights at all crosswalks, speed traps at least on a weekly basis, bring back radar guns, and continue ticketing speeders until drivers get the message that safety is a priority in WeHo. A monthly DUI checkpoint would be helpful too. I brought this up at the Transportation Committee 2 months ago, as did several other members of the community, and we will continue to do so until something is done to make all drivers, pedestrians, and cyclists safer before more lives are lost. Thank you.
Thank you, Stephanie. Next, we have Kathy Blavis. If you want to approach the podium, you'll have 3 minutes.
Hi, good evening, Kathy Blavis, City of West Hollywood. Everyone that has spoken tonight has spoken about the same thing, safety. Safety in the city, safety because of the horrific accident and tragic loss of a life. Safety on Fountain Avenue has become paramount. What saddens me is that from the get-go, from the beginning of the discussions about Fountain Avenue bike lanes, Gardner Avenue bike lanes, the community has been pitted against each other. Pro-bike lanes, con-bike lanes. And the truth of the matter is, as you heard in this room tonight, we all want the same things. How we got pitted against each other is a different story. But the bottom line is indeed the bottom line. We need safety on Fountain now, not X amount of time after a community meeting on the 19th to discuss a streetscape plan. We need safety now, however it happens. And, you know, I've been tempted myself sometimes to throw down the strips that they throw down during a car chase to flatten tires. I use Fountain. I use Fountain as little as I can because it's unsafe. It's unsafe for pedestrians, it's unsafe for drivers, and it is unsafe for cyclists. And the fact that there are sharrows on Fountain Avenue, those should be painted over immediately. And at La Brea and at La Cienega, signs should be up saying this is not safe for bicyclists. So it's not us against them. It's not us for safety and them for bike lanes. It's the same issue. And until such time as politics is taken out of this conversation and the blame game is taken out of this conversation, for there to be a petition going around asking for Lauren Meister's resignation because she had the courage to vote down on the grant money for the bike lanes and not include in that asking for John Heilman to resign. I don't know what that says. They both made the same vote. The point is this: there is no one to blame for a horrific accident. And until we come together and ask for safety now, this conversation is going to end right here. Thank you.
Thank you, Kathy. And our final speaker is Anita Goswami. If you want to approach the podium, you'll have 3 minutes.
Hi there. Thank you, everyone. I just wanted to come back on an action item from last month, because I was here last month with neighbors. We were very concerned about burglaries that were going on in our neighborhood, a lot of challenges that were happening. What I really want to just come back and say is, number one, thank you all for the support since that meeting. And we had our neighborhood group had a great meeting with the sheriffs. Thank you so much. We had a great meeting with the sheriffs, representation from block by block, and also representation from Commissioner Nickel and Councilmember Lauren Meister. We are confident that that kind of communication will continue because it's by working together that we do make this safe. I know I'm speaking on residential safety and our what we've got going on, and the theme here throughout is when we work together, we can make things happen. What's coming out from the speakers ahead of me is, or who spoke earlier, that communication has not been going on. The community has not necessarily been involved on Fountain Avenue. We're seeing a lot of concerns there. I just want to reiterate again, we need to work together. All of our neighbors, I'm not at Fountain Avenue, but everyone in West Hollywood needs to work together to do this. I am shocked by what Mr. Renteria said. I am shocked by those statistics that, West Hollywood is the top in a lot of negative areas. So I'm hoping to see that perhaps every month we see those statistics and we see what are the actions that the City of West Hollywood is taking, and the Public Safety Commission is then doing that oversight for those actions. I know when we work together we can make good things happen. I really want us to continue that. So thank you again, and we look forward to National Night Out. That's, again, another opportunity to work together, but let's see it. That's a celebration, but let's actually see it going on our streets. We need safety together. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Anita, and that is all for the public comments.
There's no unfinished business on the agenda this evening. So with that, we move to new business, which is the election of chair. Item 8A on the agenda is the election of the commission chair, City Clerk Melissa Crowder, who I don't see. Is she there? Hi, Melissa. Sorry, I missed you. That angle.
I was hiding over here.
Melissa Crowder will facilitate the commission election.
Thank you. Good evening, Vice Chair, Commissioners. Melissa Crowder, City Clerk for the City of West Hollywood. I am here this evening to conduct the election of Chair and Vice Chair for the upcoming year. First, I would just like to go over the duties, or a few of the duties of the Chair. They serve as the presiding officer of the meeting. They conduct the order of business as set forth in the agenda. They ensure that parliamentary procedure, or Rosenberg's Rules of Order, are followed during the meeting. They call a brief recess if needed during the meeting and ensure that there is decorum during our meeting. And the term of the chair and the vice chair is for 1 year, and the commissioners shall not serve as chair unless they have served on the commission for at least 6 months. And so currently we have 2 commissioners who would not qualify to be nominated this evening, Commissioners Eng and Polarski. And so with that, unless there are any questions, I will open the floor up for nominations for chair.
I would like to make a nomination for our next chair. I would like to nominate Vice Chair Bill Harrison. I think he will make an amazing chair, and he deserves the honor.
Thank you.
I will second that nomination.
Thank you. Do you accept, Vice Chair,
I
the
accept.
nomination?
Thank you.
Okay, I will do a roll call vote unless there's another nomination. Okay, seeing none. Commissioner Blau.
Aye.
Commissioner Eng.
Yes.
Commissioner Hall.
Yes.
Commissioner Nickel.
Aye.
Commissioner Polarski.
Aye.
Commissioner Post.
Aye.
Vice Chair Harrison.
Abstain.
And you are the new chair of the commission. Okay, and with that, we will now move to vice chair. There are no minimum eligibility requirements for vice chair, so I will open the floor up to any nominations.
I would like to nominate Commissioner Blau.
I'll second that.
Do you accept?
I accept. Thank you.
Okay, any other nominations? Okay, seeing none, I'll do a roll call vote. Commissioner Blau.
Abstain?
Commissioner Eng.
Yes.
You can vote for yourself, just saying. Commissioner Hallman.
Yes.
Commissioner Nickel.
Aye.
Commissioner Polarski.
Aye.
Commissioner Post.
Aye.
Vice Chair Harrison.
Aye.
And your new, not quite yet, and your new vice chair is Commissioner Blau. Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
Thanks, Melissa. Next item on the agenda is the commission liaison appointments to other commissions for item 8C. The Public Safety Commission Chair will appoint commission liaisons to other city commissions and advisory boards.
Chair Harrison, before we begin,
Thank you.
should we check to see if our Zoom caller is still with us?
Absolutely.
Michael Vojkolevich, if you are on the line, can you please unmute yourself? You will have 3 minutes.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. Is this block by block? That's 8F that I requested public comment in addition to last round of public comment.
Yes, the block by block report is item 8F.
So that's what I'm speaking on right now. So good evening, commissioners.
Michael, we're
city
not quite
staff,
on, I'm so
members of
sorry,
the
we're not
public.
quite on that. Did you want to wait until 8F?
Yep.
Okay, we can wait until that time. Thank you.
We're proceeding. So some advice here, maybe? As far as these appointments go, am I making them based on expressed interest from fellow commissioners?
And congratulations, Chair. And so, what the commission can do is certainly, go through. We did attach a list, right, of all the commissions and advisory boards to provide some helpful guidance and kind of the schedules and the meeting times, right? So you certainly do not have to choose a liaison to every single one of them, but if you want to focus or kind of concentrate on particular commissions or advisory boards, you can do so then at that point. If there's more than one commissioner that happens to be interested in kind of serving as a liaison, then we can certainly kind of do what we just went through with the election of chair and vice chair, is kind of go through a nomination of that. It could be the same person that maybe you want to elect to serve as a liaison, and maybe establishing a backup. I know sometimes things come up, and so it would be helpful. And then more or less kind of the intent and role of the liaison is to provide updates. I know at times we've heard from other folks that have represented other bodies, right, that have come before the Public Safety Commission during public comment and just share some updates, maybe some upcoming items that are going to be discussed at their commission meetings, et cetera. And then what those liaisons do is during their commissioner comments, they have an opportunity to kind of share, hey, I attended, right, this advisory board meeting, this commission meeting, and you know, these were the items that were on the agenda, or these are maybe some of the items that are going to be discussed in the future. And so that keeps the commission abreast of, you know, those discussions, those things that are going on, and again, kind of sharing updates and things that are going on the commission side of things here on the public safety side. So hope that's helpful, but here to continue to answer any questions and help guide the discussion.
So is it a question for my fellow commissioners of an advisory? Yeah, do we have the list of? Here we go. So we've got Arts and Cultural Affairs. We have Business License, Historic Preservation, Human Services.
If possible, I would be interested in serving as the liaison for Human Services. Is that how we're able to do that? Do we want to?
Yeah, I would like to.
I know. I was also just going
to.
I was also just going to comment because I know I did attend the Transportation and Mobility Commission meeting and mentioned I do think we should for sure appoint someone to the Transportation and Mobility Commission, and I was going to suggest or nominate Kelly Pilarski for that position. So those were my two pieces. I'd also be interested in serving on business license if necessary.
Chair, I was going to say, why don't we, you want to just go to, I mean, nobody volunteered for arts. You want to say BLC
Absolutely.
and see?
Yeah, is anyone interested in arts and cultural affairs?
I'll do arts.
Okay, George, you're doing arts. Business license?
I want BLC.
Okay, right. Commissioner Ang, BLC. Historic preservation? Okay.
I would put my hand up if it's, if we need someone.
If we need someone? Okay, thank you, Commissioner Pilarski. Human Services?
I nominate Post.
Commissioner Post.
Sorry about that.
LGBTQ plus?
I can take that one.
Great. Got that. Commissioner Blau, Vice Chair Blau. Planning Commission?
I would actually like planning.
Commissioner Holman, planning.
Thank you.
Public Facilities, Rec and Infrastructure?
I could do that one too if you want.
Vice Chair Blau,
City Hall's
thank
right
you.
there. Great.
We're all on public safety already, so we've got that covered. Rent stabilization?
I'd be open to tag teaming that with someone. I know they meet twice a month, so I just would be helpful to have another person if we need someone on rent stabilization, but if we only need one, I'm happy to attend those meetings. Okay, cool.
Okay, that's great. Commissioner Post and Commissioner Ang. Transportation and Mobility?
I would like to put my name in the hat there for that one.
Great, and I would like to join with you on that if you need support on that. As a second?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, fantastic. And now we move to advisory boards. Disabilities?
I would like that.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Nickel. Older adults, I would like that. And Commissioner Ang, do you want to take?
They meet on Wednesdays, which isn't good for me anyway, but I'd be here.
Okay, great. Russian speaking? Okay, Commissioner Ang. Social justice?
I'll take social justice.
Great. Commissioner Holtman, thank you. Transgender?
Weird list for me.
I would like to tag myself for that one if no one else, or Commissioner Blau, are you interested? Okay, thank you.
Okay, Commissioner Pilarski. And then Women's Advisory Board.
I'd like to nominate Commissioner Ang.
We can come back to that at a later time. Okay, so we don't have to vote on these, correct? These are appointed, okay. All right, moving on to 8D, overview of waste and recycling services. For item 8D, the Public Service and Safety Commission will receive a presentation from Athens Services, the city's provider for waste and recycling collection, to outline their operations and services in the city of West Hollywood. Welcome.
Good evening. Good evening, Chair Harrison and Vice Chair Blau. I had to rewrite some notes there after tonight's actions. My name is Jennifer Masterson, the Vice President of Government Affairs for Athens Services. Thank you for having Athens here tonight to talk about proper disposal of batteries, household waste such as bulky items, and hazardous materials. Hopefully this information will help to make West Hollywood a little bit safer. I'm going to introduce your West Hollywood team, tell you a little bit about Athens Services, and then I'll hand it over to Evelyn for the presentation. We have Sydney Stoll, our Community Relations Manager, Ruben Valenzuela, our Operations and Community Relations Manager, and Evelyn Howdegui, our Recycling Coordinator. Along with myself, we make up your West Hollywood team. Athens Services is a family-owned and operated recycling and waste diversion company founded in 1957. Today, we operate in more than 50 communities, employ over 2,000 people, and serve 2.3 million customers. And we are proud to serve the city of West Hollywood. So we'll get right into it and talk about how to properly dispose of your waste.
Thank you, Jennifer. So I want to start off by giving a bit of a breakdown of what is classified as household hazardous waste and what is classified as electronic waste. So HHW includes products that are labeled as toxic. They can be poisonous, irritants. They can also be flammable, combustible, or corrosive. And electronic waste includes anything that plugs into an electronic outlet or electrical outlet and also has some type of circuit board or wiring. So some common examples of these types of products include batteries, light bulbs, electronics like laptops, TVs, phones. Also, cleaning supplies count as well, and gas tanks too. It is prohibited by the state and federally to dispose of these types of materials in your trash, your organics, or your recycling containers, to dispose of them down your sink or down storm drains, or abandon them in the environment. They do pose a safety concern for our drivers and for the local community. So it's important to make sure that if you do have these types of materials, you're disposing of them at the correct drop-off sites. The city of Los Angeles runs different safe centers across LA County where you can drop off of those materials. The LA Sanitation website and the LA Sanitation number would be a great resource to contact to determine what the closest safe center is to you and to verify the hours and the types of materials that you would be able to drop off at those locations. Some other recommendations that I give to customers when engaging with them, if they have specific electronic material like batteries, maybe old laptops or wires or cables, they can drop those off at Best Buy for free. They typically have drop-off boxes located right at the front of the store, and that's always a good option. If you have certain car material like used car oil, AutoZone will also collect that for free. That's usually where I take mine, so that's always a good resource. And then, of course, the City of West Hollywood does run an annual household hazardous waste, electronic waste, and paper shredding event, typically in the first 2 weeks of July, and that's located at the Cedar Sinai lot. So that's also an option to customers, too. Lastly, they can call Athens Services or visit the canirecyclemy.com website. You can type in the material that you're disposing of, and then it'll let you know what proper container it should go in, or if it does require a special type of disposal method. Another common question that we get from our customers is, what do we do with bulky items? So if I'm moving out and I have a dresser or a mattress or larger materials that don't fit in the regular containers, you can call Athens Services. They do provide residential bulky collection for free. You can call through the customer service line, through the chat option, or via email, and they can set that up accordingly. Another method to ensure that your bins aren't getting illegally rummaged or face illegal dumping or potentially have these types of materials thrown into them is securing them with a lock bar. So the lock bar is welded onto the dumpster, and the bar itself goes over the lids, and then it's secured via a lock. To get a lock bar installed on your container, customers can call the customer service number, and they can review the pricing, they can schedule the installation of the lock bar for you. There is a one-time fee for the purchase and installation of the lock bar. It's $52.66 per container. And then there is also a monthly lock bar fee as well. So the monthly lock bar fee is $17.58 per month, but it's dependent on how many service days you have. So let's say, for example, you have a trash container that's getting picked up twice per week. You would multiply that monthly fee by 2 times, and it would be applicable per container that has a lock. These lock bars do come with an Athens provided lock and key that the driver will have a copy of and the customer will have a copy of, but customers typically request providing a special lock that has their own key or a combo lock, so that's always an option for them too. Now I'm going to discuss what is acceptable in the containers that are on site, starting off with the recycling. So this is traditionally your paper, your cardboard, your plastic, your metal, and your food grade glass. The biggest rule we have for the recycling is to ensure that these products are empty of any liquid or of any food. So if you have any juice cartons, milk jugs, water bottles, make sure to empty them out before recycling them. And if you have any plastic or aluminum trays that have food in them, empty that out and have it clean to the best of your ability before recycling them to avoid contamination in the container. Some recycling tips: the recycling symbol unfortunately does not always mean that it's recyclable. The best recycling items are going to be your 1s, 2s, and 5s, and also ones that are clear, white, or lighter in color. Unfortunately, with our optical sensors, it's harder to pick up dark plastics, so the ones lighter in color are typically better. And we also have a 4-inch minus rule. If you encounter a plastic material that's less than 4 inches or smaller than the palm of your hand, it's more than likely not going to be recycled. Some common examples are plastic utensils, plastic straws. If you have plastic sauce packets from to-go restaurants, things like that, although they're made of plastic, they're unfortunately too small to recycle. Another note about recyclable servingware: again, numbers 1 and 5, like the clamshell plastic to-go containers, are typically highly recyclable and highly valuable. Same is the case with aluminum trays or metal trays or aluminum foil. Again, just verifying, is there too much food waste on there? Is it salvageable, yes or no? And then making that decision on whether you should throw it in the trash or in the recycling bin. And then lastly, avoiding black plastic if possible, just because they cannot be optically sorted. Some common contaminants in the blue bin include mixed packaging products. One example shown on the screen is the Pringles can. This has a cardboard exterior, it has a metal wire holding the top and the bottom, a plastic lid, a lot of different materials combined together that are difficult to separate, so it makes it challenging to recycle that. So if you encounter a type of mixed packaging product, throw that into the trash. Again, any material that has high levels of food residue, if you can't clean it out, it's best to just throw it into your landfill container. Stuffed or crimped material is also a heavy contaminant. A good example is the water bottle pictured here. Although the water bottle is recyclable, it's filled with pieces of plastic, pieces of metal, that makes it very difficult to recover. And lastly, wish cycling. If you have doubts on whether or not that material can be recycled, you're not entirely certain, it's best to just throw that into the landfill container to avoid any contamination. The next bin is going to be the organics or your green container. We have 3 categories of items here. We have food scraps, food sold paper, and landscaping waste. Your landscaping waste is going to be branches, flowers, grass clippings. The only 2 exceptions to that rule are going to be the leaves from palm trees, so palm fronds, and cactus and succulents. Unfortunately, they do not break down at our organics facility, so those would have to go into the trash. For food scraps, it's going to be anything from fruit preparation, eggshells, vegetable peels, fruit tops, and anything left over from your meal. We'll accept chicken bones, coffee grounds with the filter, moldy, expired food. We'll take all of it. And lastly, 100% fiber-based food sold paper. So we'll take anything that's uncoated or unlined with plastic. It can be your napkins, paper plates, bamboo utensils, the pizza box. The most common example I give to customers is the Chipotle bowl. The Chipotle bowl is 100% fiber-based paper at the bottom, and you know because it gets a little soggy as it's holding your food. That's a good indicator that it is 100% fiber-based paper. On the other side, we have some common contaminants, which I'll review in further detail at a later slide, but some to highlight are going to be specific types of seafood. So if you have oysters, mussels, clams, they're unfortunately too hard to break down, so they have to go into the trash. And then another one that surprises a lot of people are tea bags. Tea bags typically have plastic fibers in the sachet to kind of hold it together. So tea bags are unfortunately trash. Unless you drink loose leaf tea, the leaves can go into the organics container. Additional notes on acceptable compostable items. We do not accept anything labeled as bioplastic. Although they're typically made of plants, they are a plastic material. Those do not break down in time at our facility. So if you encounter any bioplastics, please do not throw those in the organics bin. They are actually supposed to go in the trash container. We only accept 100% fiber-based paper with no coating or plastic or wax liner. And it has to be food soiled in order to go in the organics bin. Not super common, but there are edible food options like bread bowls, tapioca cups, edible spoons. If you do encounter those can go in the green bin. This is additional information on material that's typically going into the organics that is a contaminant. We see a lot of tissues, cleaning wipes, bathroom waste in there. Pet waste especially is a big one in the green bins. That has to go into the trash. We see a lot of plastic and bioplastics as well, and then some miscellaneous items that are typically pretty small. We see gloves, receipt paper, to-go sauce packets in the organics. And lastly, I want to touch upon the trash bin, so your landfill container. But as a reminder, there is no away. The landfills are forever. So be mindful when throwing away your material, because once it gets into the trash and to the landfills, it's going to stay there. So the landfill bin is comprised of material that cannot be recycled, cannot be composted. So this is going to be your mixed packaging products, like your hot coffee cups, your snack wrappers, chip bags, your single-use items like toilet paper, tissue paper, cleaning wipes, and your small plastic material like Keurig pods, sauce packets, things like that. And then as a final note, making sure that if you do have any hazardous waste, electronic waste, anything like that, please do not throw it in your trash, your recycle, or organics. Identify what the best option for you is in terms of drop-off centers to ensure that we're keeping our drivers safe and the community safe. Thank you so much for your time. Our team will be here if you have any questions.
Thank you. Do any commissioners have any comments at this time? Commissioner Blau?
Thank you, Chair. Thank you for the presentation. I had a few questions because this was really helpful. You talked a lot about contaminants and contaminants when you improperly recycle or wish cycling. I liked that. Can you help me understand what happens practically in the recycling process when someone provides a contaminant, recycles improperly?
Definitely. So on the back end, we have people that are physically sorting the waste that comes at our recovery facilities, and also machinery that's taking the material that can be recycled and then baled and then sent off to a vendor to recycle that material. So on the back end, there is a level of separation that can happen to identify if contaminants end up in the bins. It just makes our job a lot easier if we have the effort and the participation of the community that is throwing the material in the containers. But on the back end, there is still separation that's happening to identify if contaminants are ending up in the bin and removing them accordingly.
Okay, thank you.
If you have
more
interest on the back end, we have a fantastic YouTube channel. It gives all of the details of what we do. It has amazing videos. There's so many different lines of defense. Or a tour. Yeah. Or a tour. We're more than happy to do that. But we have all these different lines of defense to...
Oh yeah, microphone.
Perfect. Can you hear me now? Yes. But yes, we have a YouTube channel. If anybody is interested, please give it a visit and look at these amazing videos that we have to kind of showcase what we do and how we do it. We have so many different lines of defense to keep contaminants out of our material and sort properly. And like Jennifer said, if you'd like a tour, just give us a call.
Great, thank you. And it's just Athens on YouTube, right?
Athens Services, yeah. If you look that up in YouTube, you'll find our channel.
Perfect, thank you. Do you process the recycling domestically, kind of somewhere around here?
We do, yeah. We have a facility over in Pacoima area.
Okay.
We also have a organics facility called Crown, so we call it Llano, LA North. That's our facility over in Pacoima.
Got it, thank you.
Yeah.
I will
Just one additional note on that. We are hopefully September, October, opening up a recycling facility in Irwindale. It is going to be state-of-the-art technology that is not seen anywhere in the country. We have proprietary technology that we will be using to really divert as much waste out of the landfill as possible, and using all the greatest and latest AI technology to process recyclables as well.
Got it, thank you. I will end my time for now.
Thank you, Chair. I've got a bunch of questions, or actually a few things. When you mentioned the recycling, I know Commissioner or Vice Chair Blau just asked if it was domestic. What happens to it after it's where's it going?
Yeah, so there's actually a lot of post-collection, is what we call that, markets across the world. So I don't have the specific details for you tonight, but there is a lot of markets in Southeast Asia that take our baled recyclable material. It's got to be very clean, which is why we talk about reducing contaminants, because the countries that are taking that material and recycling it can't have it contaminated, or it really messes with their entire process. So we actually have some local markets as well. The clamshells, there's a local market actually in the Sun Valley area that recycles those. And so they're all over the country, all over the world, that we use for that post-collection material.
Okay, thank you. And then I want to ask, how do you recommend disposal of fire extinguishers? Because I actually had a bunch of them to get rid of, and I had to go to, I had to check 7 different options, including calling our fire departments, and no one actually really knew. So I actually did take them to the Cedars event this last time. But in general, how do you recommend that they're disposed of?
For really any HHW or U waste, we recommend that you go onto LA Sanitation's website and look for a safe center. But like we said, if you have anything that's electronic, Best Buy is a fantastic option. But if there's something that you really don't know, you can always visit our website or go to LA Sanitation for a safe center.
I think I did look on your website, but I know that the Los Angeles, none of the sites are near us, and they were also only open from 3 to 6 in the heart of traffic hours, so I didn't ever want to do it, and they just sat by my door until the Cedars event. I guess, and then the other thing that I'll say is, Janet, you mentioned that you can do big item pickup. I also want to mention that it's really easy to report on the WeHo app. I'm sure most of us know that, but I just think it's worth repeating. I use that all the time, and you guys are really great about picking things up, and I think that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Nickel.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you for the presentation. Good to see you again. I originally saw this presentation. Mike Carter with the Ogden Owls actually had a community meeting through his watch group and invited you, and it really made sense to have you here for the community, for the public safety aspect, because Chief Smith brought up when we were asking questions about these fires that kept happening in garbage, disposals and things. He said, well, some of them might be because things are being improperly disposed. So I'm glad that you were here to talk about batteries, electronics, I'm assuming cell phones, you mentioned laptops, all of these things. If they're thrown away improperly, they can start these fires that we keep seeing in our reports. I did want to ask about organics as far as in the green bins. Is it ever an issue when you get dry leaves and things together in the heat that we have that they could combust? And if so, is there anything that can be done about that?
To my knowledge, I'm gonna actually have Ruben answer that because he's our operations guru.
Yeah.
It's a microphone right up there.
Right,
Microphone.
use the one, yeah.
Some of the waste can combust no matter what it is. Even recyclables combust. Compost can combust. It all depends on what's mixed in there. And no one really knows what can be in there that can make a trash fire. Normal protocol is wherever the fire's at, wherever it's happening, we dump the load. And thanks to the LA Fire Department, which is here right there somewhere. Oh, there you are. They're great in response. And I've been in the city since 2004. I've had multiple truck fires. And we dump it on the street, they put it out, and then we pick it up again and put it back in the truck. Even it caught fire. But to answer your question, there's so many items and different commodities that are in the trash truck. Packing all day. And an average time is about 3.5 hours of packing a full truck, especially in the city of West Hollywood. And you can imagine, in 1 week, this city produced 500 tons a week, all commodities. 500. 1.9 square miles. So you guys are busy. And we work that angle. So anything can catch fire.
All right, so
Hopefully
we
that
just
was
need
good
to
enough
be
for you.
careful and dispose of those electronics properly.
Yes.
Thank you.
To reduce the risk, absolutely, yeah.
Thank you, Commissioner
I have-
Pilarski.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Ruben. I actually had a follow-up question to that. And my question is, to your point, nothing's really away, and we have to be conscious of what we're doing and the safety of your employees. So what are some of the, front runners for injuries or things that happen based on or because of the things that people don't, other than electronics, we know that that's a huge issue.
Oh, yeah. Well, the main objective is the life. So the driver makes the decision to dump the truck as the fire produces. And he is the most valuable thing right there.
Oh, right.
So he chooses to just get out and leave it alone. And that has happened, by the way. Trucks burned to the ground. Fire department cuts the truck in half and gets in there. They do an amazing job, but
Are there any other injuries that you're seeing with your employees when they're loading bins into
we
the truck?
have not had much injuries.
Okay.
If anything, maybe heat, but not really. Mentally, we do ask the driver, and it's his choice to continue or take the day off or take days off. It's up to them. It is a traumatic experience, and depends on if they panic, save the life. Get out, don't worry about it. Truck can be replaced. And the fire department finds a way to put the fire out. So they do it no matter what.
Thank you.
You got it.
And then I just had one kind of small thing just for my own, or maybe other people have this question, but what is the direction for caps? Am I removing my cap before I am putting it in the bin?
That's a good question. You don't have to remove it on plastic containers. If you have like food grade glass that you're trying to recycle, they typically have like an aluminum or metal lid. In that situation, you do want to remove it. For your water bottles, it's fine. Or
Thank
like
you.
your plastic containers.
Thanks so much.
They get crushed. The water bottles get crushed and the lids will just pop off. Yeah.
And also just a nice reminder for all of us to reduce our single-use plastics as much as possible.
Thank you. Commissioner Post.
Hi, yes, appreciate all the work that you do. I know sustainability is super important to the city. 500 tons is a lot, so seconding Commissioner Pilarski on reducing our single use. But I don't believe, and I was gonna originally ask what composting services you offer, but I don't believe my building currently does organic waste. Do you have kind of a percentage of either units or apartments within the city that do participate in organic waste? And also, do you have any tips on how to maybe encourage our building manager or owner to participate in such the program?
Yes, we actually know the percentage because we're finalizing our Cal Recycle annual report with the city right now, and West Hollywood's 99% compliant. Now, what that means, though, let me do a caveat, is that 99% of the buildings and single families have a green bin. So they have it there and it can be used. Now, there are certain circumstances where the owner doesn't have a space for it, so they might move it somewhere where the tenants can't find it. Or they just don't want to see it, so they put it in a trash can, which we've seen before, going into the small one, going into the big one. So if you don't have one at your facility, get a hold of one of us and we'll make sure that you have one at your property. But we have also seen an increase in organics tonnage. Not a big increase, but it means that people are utilizing the program, which is all very positive steps forward.
Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, and the final tip, if you need help, we have our recycling coordinators that will go out to our multifamily residences and do training. We offer free kitchen pails for the any City of West Hollywood resident. You can pick them up at City Hall in the Public Works building. And they're just, the countertop pails that it's easily dispose of your food waste. Then you can take that and put that in your organics container. And then we also offer signage. So, sometimes multifamily properties, there's just a lot going on. So we offer signs for them so people know what goes where.
Thank you. Commissioner Holman.
Thank you, Chair. Does Athens have, I've seen in Europe these large pods. They almost look like geodesic domes. And they're divided in sections. And I think a lot of times to people, when it comes to recycling certain things like batteries, to take it a great distance to the drive, you're just like, I'm just gonna chuck it in the trash. But I saw these in Europe on designated corners, and they were divided, and you could put certain things in different reservoirs. Does anything like that exist here?
I've actually seen that in other countries as well. Costa Rica, it's very separated. You put your bottles in this, your batteries in that, your foil in that. We do not recycle that same way here in America. In fact, California is way ahead of the game. Most states across the country are not doing anything in organics recycling. But no, we don't have anything like that here in the state of California, and Athens doesn't separate recyclables like that.
Okay, great. And also, just a side note, I know we all get impatient when we get stuck behind an Athens vehicle. These individuals are working very hard. They're out in extreme heat. So I think we just need to be courteous and aware, because they are doing a very important job that makes our lives easier. So thank you to your teams.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any public comments? I think we've got
Yes, we have 2 public comments. Kevin Burton, if you want to approach the podium, you'll have 3 minutes.
Kevin Burton, City of West Hollywood. And I just wanted to comment on my experience and one connection of this topic to you all and this commission. And I live in a multifamily building, and I have been interacting with Athens, and Evelyn, it's nice to see you again. Thank you for coming. About organics, food waste. In the case of our building, none of the tenants have ever had this subject discussed with them by management. There was no green bin at all. And despite repeated outreach to the management by Athens, Athens has been completely rebuffed. And they did, at my urging, provide a large green container to the building. The management promptly hid it behind the building, and it's never been used since then. As the caveat was stated, 99% makes it sound a little better than it actually is. And I know Councilmember Heilman, it's the opposite, in the sense that each unit gets a little green bin to fill up, and then you take it out to the large green bin. And apparently in his condo building, they've all got the little bins, but I don't know if it's a condo association or who, there's no big bin. And so they don't have anywhere to put their organics either. So it's quite a challenge. And the connection to this commission is that this is state law requiring it. The cities are tasked with enforcing that state law, code compliance. So I have contacted code compliance about this. I think they contacted our management. Management ignored them completely, if they did. So I would request that the city and Athens work together to increase enforcement, where Athens is fully aware that there are scofflaw buildings throughout the city, that enforcement become more vigorous than it has in the past, because there are a number of, at least managers of multifamily buildings, maybe condo associations as well, who really don't want to do this and are actively skirting state law and trying to inhibit the entire process. Thank you.
Thank you, Kevin. And our final speaker is Stephanie Harker. If you want to approach the podium, you'll have 3 minutes.
Good evening again. Stephanie Harker, City of West Hollywood. We love Athens. I have a couple of questions, though. Are the green bins cleaned on a regular basis? Because my particular building with 12 units have been doing a really good job of recycling their wet garbage, but it clings to the bottom of the bin and not so pleasant. So, or is the landlord possibly responsible for that? Or anyway, it's gotten pretty gamey lately. Or if they could be changed out. Also, I have a question about shredded paper. If we have unconsciously shredded different types of paper, can that be recycled? Although since it's chopped up already, it's not too bad putting it in the landfill, I guess. But I'm wondering if we should be more conscious of different types of paper in our shredders. And I think I was told that you attended the National Night Out several times. I think I was told we could also use, if it was absolutely a clear plastic bag, to put that into the bin. I don't think that's common knowledge, which again could make it a little less stinky. And also I've been in touch with Helen Collins, but maybe I could talk to one of you after. Athens had replaced our dumpster. We have dumpster and then we have blue and green bins. And the one that they replaced it with, because the bottom had rusted out, but it's too large, and they have now broken 2 of our locking gate handles. So we'd like to somehow be reimbursed for those handles and also request that we have the smaller size back. Thank you very much. Like I said, we love Athens.
Thank you.
Thank you, Stephanie. And that is all for the public comments.
Thank you. And item 80 is from Los Angeles County Fire Department. Provide a report on June's activity. And thank you very much, Athens.
Thank you.
All right. Good evening, Vice Chair and Vice Chair, newly elected commissioners. Thank you for having me. I'm Battalion Chief Kevin Price, LA County Fire Department, here on the B shift at Fire Station 7. I'm here to give you the fire activity report for the month of June 2025. Start out with our fires. We responded to approximately 4 fire calls for the month of June. 442 emergency medical calls, 0 hazmat calls, and 2 hazardous conditions calls, 50 calls for service, and 127 good intent calls. Comparing to last year, so that makes for a total of 625 calls that we responded to within that month. Breaks down to approximately 20 just above 20 calls per shift for the city of West Hollywood. So, and compared to last year, it's roughly the same. Last year, we averaged about 22 calls per month per 30 days of the month of June. Of those 442 emergency medical calls, 111 of them were ALS calls, and 213 were BLS calls, for which we transported approximately 324 patients throughout the month of June. And roughly about the same thing last year. So our call volume has been pretty steady for the month compared to last year, and that's all we have for that. For the fire calls, we did have one structure fire that we did respond to at 905 Orange Grove, and then the other 3 fire calls that we responded to were considered rubbish, outside rubbish fires that we responded to put out. And I'm not sure if they were part of the Anthem's container calls, but I could look into that for you. And then of the other calls we had some hazardous condition calls, and those range from arcing wires and also possibly some CO2 detector calls that would go off in residents. So other than that, that's all I have for our response for the month of June. I'd like to give a state of the fire department. We're in good, the fire department is in good standing right now. Our brush season is upon us, and it has been relatively mellow, knock on wood, because we've been favored by the weather. The weather has been cooperating for us, but we're gearing up again for a pretty robust brush season, for which we had last year. And other than that, our firefighters we feel supported throughout the city, and we'll continue to give the best service that we can possibly give. And with that, I'd just like to extend our thoughts and prayers to our brothers and sisters of the LA County Fire Department who lost 3 of their SEB detectives to a line of duty incident. And I just wanted to extend our thoughts and prayers to them. We're in this fight together, and we know our jobs are intrinsically dangerous. And I'd just like to express our condolences to them. Thank you. I'm open for any questions.
Thank you, commissioners. Any questions? Commissioner.
Hi, thank you, Battalion Chief Price. I wanted to just have a moment about heat stroke and heat exhaustion. When some of these medical calls are coming through for chest pain or stroke or difficulty breathing, is any of that tied to the weather, or is it completely separate?
No, most of the times it's directly affected by the weather. Mm-hmm. And what we'll do is our units will respond to that. Usually, if the symptoms that are related to the dispatchers and the time that the call goes out, we'll dispatch a fire engine, paramedic squad, and also an ambulance to respond to those calls. Like again, I said, the weather has been favorable this summer. It hasn't been too hot, but I think they're supposed to heat up toward the end of this week. And I just encourage everyone to just continue to hydrate, make sure you keep cool, and if you experience someone experiencing any of those symptoms, don't hesitate to call 911, and we'll respond.
And some of those symptoms, can you just remind us what those are to look out for, especially for ourselves if we're doing yard work or going on long walks with our pets?
Right. Okay. So in regards to heat stroke, and heat stroke is kind of a late stage process in the event of someone suffering from some kind of heat related incident. Heat exhaustion is early on. You see profuse sweating, rapid heart rate, and you'll see them particularly become disoriented, and those are signs of not heat stroke, but heat stress. Then there's heat stroke, which is late stages. Their skins will dry up because their body's mechanism to cool them will be exhausted. So they'll be flush, they'll be dry, and may experience some altered LOC, level of consciousness.
Okay, thank you very much for that explanation. And then I did want to just have a moment to say, if you see something, say something. I know that there was an incident at Runyon Canyon. Some person started, a tree on fire, and a person, taped it with their phone and was able to detain the person until enforcement got there. So always be on the lookout. So thank you.
Yes.
Hi, yes. I know there's been a lot of discussion in public safety generally around the ICE raids, and I just wanted to confirm, similarly to LAFD doesn't have any agreements to help enforce or come to the aid of any federal agencies. I know there might be some instances where paramedics are sent to help support those that might be injured in the protest, but I'm not sure if you can just confirm that that is also applicable to LAFD.
That's affirmed. That is, yes. We have not had any directives from our chiefs above to assist in any ICE raids or anything like that. So,
thank you.
Any other questions? Commissioners? Any public comments?
Yes, we have one public comment. Kevin Burton, if you want to approach the podium, you'll have 3 minutes.
Kevin Burton, West Hollywood, and I'm speaking at the fire department's report specifically in regard to discussions between the city and the fire department concerning emergency responses on Fountain Avenue after the city's proposals are implemented. The city, we learned recently at the Transportation Commission, has completed its discussions with the fire department. And the fire department has given its comments. And Commissioner Post was present at that Transportation Commission. He knows as much as I do about that. And also, it was presented to the Fountain Avenue Streetscape Steering Committee, and Commissioner Blau heard those comments there as well. So I would think it would be appropriate, because I know that subject is of a lot of interest to the community, especially those who live on or very near Fountain Avenue, which includes me and members of this commission, that it would be appropriate for the fire department to make a presentation about those discussions to this commission, because you might have questions about what the discussions were. And ideally, that would include members of the fire department who are directly involved in discussions with the city. There will be more details about those plans at the community meeting in Plummer Park on August 19th, where interested community members can learn a lot. Thank you.
Thank you, Kevin. And that is all for the public comments.
I just have one question, mind. You'll be attending that community meeting, I'm assuming, in August? Are you planning to? No, okay. So no fire department representation?
There will not be fire department representation. That's a city staff division that will be handling that.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Next up is a report from Block by Block.
Thank you.
Hi, Erica.
Good evening, Commissioners. First, congratulations to Chair Harrison and Vice Chair Post on your new appointments. Blau, my apologies. We also would like to, on the behalf of our team, we would like to extend our condolences to the family of Blake Ackerman, the individual that passed last month in the bicycling accident. Obviously, bicycle safety for us is near and dear to our heart, and so the injury or death of any bicyclist is something that we, take really seriously and take to heart. So our condolences to his family. I'd like to report for June 3,615 business contacts performed. Our ambassadors made contact with 1,127 unhoused individuals and responded to 587 calls for service, as well as provided 51 safety escorts throughout the month of June. I would like to take a second to highlight a couple of notable interactions that we had in the previous month. The first taking place on June 10th, one of our ambassadors was on patrol on Santa Monica Boulevard and noticed a female individual that was unconscious. He and a bystander approached the individual, and upon gathering information from this individual, were able to contact the individual's family, and later found out that this was a missing person who had been missing for a couple of weeks. And so this information was passed on to the deputies, and they were able to assist in getting her located to her family. The second was on June 11th, where one of our ambassadors on proactive patrol did witness a van that ran a red light, causing a collision with another vehicle. And our ambassador was able to call paramedics and assist in that scene as much as possible. No one was seriously injured, but a serious collision nonetheless. And on 6/13, another collision that one of our ambassadors was able to witness. A car lost control on the corner of Santa Monica and Martel, and colliding between a local building and a bus bench. A local bicyclist was injured as projectiles from that accident did strike him. Our ambassador was able to call 911 immediately and get emergency service on the scene. No one was seriously injured, thankfully. And then to reference the see something, say something motto, on June 19th, a resident flagged down an ambassador near the corner of Santa Monica and Doheny to report an individual who was potentially starting fires on the sidewalk, and was observed attempting to start fires near a billboard there. Deputies were contacted and the individual was arrested. And finally, along again, the see something, say something, individuals flagged down our ambassadors on our overnight team on 6/21. A suspect of a potential pickpocketing was identified, and so we were able to get involved and escalate to deputies, and the suspect was arrested. Additionally, we've been very busy on Santa Monica Boulevard handling encampments. One specific one on in front of the Ore Bar at 8201 Santa Monica, a very large encampment over the weekend with collaboration with code enforcement, the property owner, and deputies. We were able to remove completely. We have engaged with the property owner to remove some items in that parking lot that cause good cover for encampments there, and so we will continue to work with them diligently to make sure that that area remains clear. That is all I have to report for the month of June. Oh, I would like to say for a National Night Out, if any neighborhood watch areas need additional support, we're here to support as well. So.
Thank you, Erica. I just have one question. I saw that 2 ambassadors were injured.
Yeah.
Just how are they doing?
No serious injuries. One was struck by an unhoused individual while making contact. And in both situations, we're able to press charges. So.
Great, thank you. Thank you for the report. Commissioners, any questions? Thanks, Erica. Sorry, yes, of course. Commissioner Pilarski.
Erica, hi. Hi. Thank you so much for highlighting those. I think that's really important and fantastic to point out how the boots on the ground, eyes and ears are really enforcing and creating a community on the sidewalk and on the street. So if you see these ambassadors, please say hi to them and make sure that they know that we appreciate them, because I know our commission does. Thank you for your moment for Blake. That's important for everyone. So I had to say thank you there. And then just on the neighborhood watch moment, can you just highlight which areas of the city you'll be in with some increased enforcement or just more block by block ambassadors?
I will, sorry,
Oh, sorry.
I'll
Yeah,
scare you
okay.
from this side.
Yeah, no problem.
I'll step in for that one, and we'll share a little bit more details during staff comments, but we
Okay.
have 10 activations in the city of West Hollywood that are going to take place on August 5th. And so a lot of our neighborhood watch groups, along with 2 events at Plummer Park and the Gateway. I will share the website where everyone can get information on the exact addresses, locations, and the times of the events.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you. And I think we still have Kevin, I believe, is on the line.
Yes, we have Michael
Or, sorry,
Boykolevich.
Michael, my apologies.
Yes, Michael, are you still with us?
Dan, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, perfect. We're in business. Good evening, commissioners, city staff, members of the public. My name is Michael Boykolevich, president of West Hollywood. Although I haven't been to a public safety meeting recently, those who know me do know that I have attended in the past many. And each time, block by block, always seems to receive praise and glowing reviews. Now, I do know that there are a couple commissioners who are aware that this summer marks the 2nd year of the latest iteration of the City of West Hollywood's community gardening program. It exists within Plummer Park in separate locations, Fuller Lawn, as well as Fountain Parking Lot. What I am not certain of is the degree of which any of the commissioners on public safety know what role the security ambassadors play. The security ambassadors are tasked to walk by these sections throughout operating hours of the park. Here this evening to tell you that above and beyond the safety and security issues that have been inherent to the city's program by lack of appropriate fencing and protective and locking of gate, the security ambassadors really seem to lack a keen eye to see what should be very obvious. It being that there is somebody within specific designated areas, often either with a grocery cart full of their belongings or what they are now often using, and I realize this might be a little bit harder to distinguish, trash receptacles. But I am here to tell you that there have been mornings where I have been present within said area of where my garden bed is for hours, and there is somebody who does not belong, as part of the gardening program. They are within this area, coexisting, living, trashing the area. And I'm speaking out tonight because I need the commissioners to understand that many gardeners have talked with city staff. We have talked with park
Thank you,
staff.
Michael. Thank you.
And
That
yet,
has, I'm
this
sorry,
problem
Michael, that
continues.
has been
Thank
3
you.
minutes. Thank you, Michael.
Next up, we're going to get our report.
Requesting you to unmute.
Can we mute Michael? Next up is our report from the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department from Acting Captain Lepkin and Sergeant Duran. Hello.
Hi, good evening. Congratulations, Chair Harrison and Vice Chair Blau. Okay, I have a quick report for you because I know there's quite a few questions that you had of us, so I'm going to make this fast. For June, West Hollywood Station personnel handled 1,625 calls for service, 77 for emergency response. Deputies made 37 felony arrests and 76 misdemeanor arrests for the month. We had 160 Part 1 crimes. When broken down by district, West 52%, 83 of them. City Center was 22% with 35. East was 26% with 42. We had 24 reported pickpocketing incidents in the Rainbow District. Our MET team responded to a total of 51 incidents this month. We had 86 sorts submissions for the month of June, and our station volunteers donated 227.5 hours of service. With that, I know there was a lot of questions regarding some of the traffic issues that have been happening this month, so I'll go ahead and open it up for questions.
Commissioner Pilarski.
Great, thank you so much. Hello, good evening. I wanted to just start my questioning with the highlighting the strict enforcement days that I know the city, am I good? Okay. That we had during the month of July, and I know this isn't June numbers, but I wanted to, I mean, we know that your enforcement is only one tool in the toolbox, and maybe Danny, you can expand on this, but I wanted to know if you could give us some more details on that program, kind of where it came from, how it came to be, how it was funded, and if there's an opportunity to do more of that in the city.
So the program that we're referring to, those are state grants. So
Okay.
the state provides a grant, and depending on what the specifics of the grant is, so one of the, there's three different enforcement parts of the grant. One is pedestrian and bicycle safety. The other one is DUI checkpoints. And the other one is, I have it in here because I'm going to forget the name. Pedestrian DUI and also bicycle safety. So those are state-funded grants that are our traffic division for the department applies for these grants, and then based on the amount of money that they give them, then they disperse them throughout the different stations. So for example, I don't know, if they get $100,000, then they divide that per station, and then they give each station a certain amount. So on any given year, the operations, they vary from, and I do it in quotes because that's what they're called operations. It could be between 7 to 12 a year. So on those, part of the grant is that they do notifications ahead of time, and then they do notifications at the end of it. So for example, I know you saw for July that you saw that there was 40 cites issued on bicycle and pedestrian enforcement. So that's what the outcome was at the end of it. So those are the state grants. We do, like you said, we have many tools in our toolbox. We also have other different operations that are funded by, the city gives us money to do various operations. So one of the things that we've been focusing a lot on the traffic division is focusing on Fountain. And as you can see on our monthly reports, the numbers for Fountain are tripled compared to the other citations.
Yeah,
so that has been something that we've been focusing on. So there's a variety of things that they do. We have been focusing on Fountain, but also there's a list of residents and people reach out to us and say, hey, there's people blowing through these stop signs. There's incidents of speeding at this location. So our 2 motor units rotate and do that type of enforcement. We also have patrol car, what we call traffic cars, but they're in a vehicle, but they assist patrol. They don't do a lot of the enforcement because they assist patrol, whether it be on a traffic collision. That's who actually takes those is the patrol car, not necessarily the motor units. And they also assist patrol as being a secondary unit when they need an additional unit. So those are the different types of enforcement that we have. We have mortars that concentrate specifically on enforcement, whatever it is that we're asking them to do. It could be crosswalks, it could be scooters, it could be, and again, they have a list and they rotate. They rotate where they spend their time, but most of our time has been spent on Fountain the last couple of months.
Thank you. And the culture that enforcement can create for us. I know we had some public speakers talking about cameras and speed traps and checkpoints and things like that. I mean, all different parts of tools in the toolbox. Usually we want to be as proactive as we can instead of reactive. So I am excited for the city to continue seeking those grants and using that money for enforcement. Appreciate that.
Absolutely.
I had another question, and then I'll hand it off. I wanted to know, so I wanted to commend everyone for the coordinated effort for finding the perpetrator of the terrible tragedy on Garden and Fountain, and had some questions. I know you're not able to speak with all the details at the commission meeting, but I wanted to bring some clarity and transparency for anyone here or anyone listening that wants additional information about this case. How would a community member go about following up with the Sheriff's Department or keeping track of this case?
Following the court case through the judicial system. So we can't provide any updates until the case is closed.
Okay.
So if somebody wants to go to the courthouse and see what's happening the day that the individual has to go back to court, you can, because it's open to the public. So the public can go show up at any court and just kind of witness it and see what's happening. So that individual did bond out. And again, thank you for the community, because this was a proof of how working together we were definitely, it would have been difficult for us to get them as, I don't want to say get them, but identify the individual as quickly as we did, because the community got involved. And the people that followed that individual were visiting. They saw the incident, and so for us, this is again how a community came together, and it was identified the individual rather quickly. So without getting into the details of the case, the individual was arrested and he bonded out. So that's as far as we can tell. But anybody that wants to follow this court case can follow it through the court judicial system. And then we can provide an update once the case is closed.
Okay, thank you for clarifying that.
Thank you. Commissioner Hallman.
Thank you, Chair. Sergeant Duran, I had reached out to you to see if you could give an update on the incident that happened maybe a week and a half ago at Santa Monica and Formosa. I believe it was a vehicle and scooter incident.
Yeah, that was on Friday, July 18th, in the evening hours. There was a vehicle that was traveling west on Santa Monica Boulevard approaching Formosa, and it looks like he went through the red light and struck a scooter. And then it turned into a hit and run. He took off from the scene. Local bystanders that saw the accident happen followed him and stayed on the phone with 911 with our deputies and our dispatch. And we were able to get to the scene where he was at and make the arrest. And he was arrested for hit and run and a DUI.
Okay, thank you. Which, Director Rivas, this brings me to my continued question. Do we have any updates from, I believe it's transportation? We all gave our recommendations for corners of concern. Is there a possible meeting, or where are we at with, this situation and these intersections?
Yeah, thank you, Commissioner Hallman. So that information was passed on through the city clerk's office to the liaison as we communicated to the Public Safety Commission based on, the information and the concerns, right, that were expressed by the commission at that time. So I do not have any update regarding that. But earlier today, as the commission established a liaison, that would be a perfect opportunity for that liaison to be in attendance, right, to be able to kind of express, what's been communicated in the past. We will, as a courtesy to the commission, follow up just to see if there is anything that's planned moving forward, but just know that information's passed on, so there's no directive to have the commission, the Transportation and Mobility Commission, agendize and kind of go through that. The information was passed on, that's what was done, but we can certainly follow up and see if that's something that they plan to do in the future.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Commissioner Eng.
Thank you, Chair. I'm actually going to switch gears now and ask about what's been happening federally with ICE. We know that there was raids here, and we also know that there are people currently pretending to be law enforcement. So I think I'd like to start by asking if we've had any reports of people impersonating federal officers in our city?
Not in our city, no. We haven't had,
Okay.
or even in the department.
Because we know it's been reported in Highland Park and in various parts of the country. It's pretty scary, I want to say. I want to ask our sheriff's department if someone from the public was to call and report that they're seeing an abduction on the street, what would happen?
So you call, we respond to the call of service. We ask to, we will not interfere while they're doing their enforcement. Once they're complete with their enforcement, then we check IDs. We'll check an ID of a supervisor. We'll ask for a supervisor ID. And once we've checked their credentials, then that's, we're not going to check every single one of them. We'll check whoever the supervisor is.
Are we tracking these raids in the city? I don't know if the city is or the sheriff's department.
We are.
Can I ask how many times it's occurred at this
Once.
point? I don't think that's true, actually. I've actually heard, other than Santa Palm, that it has happened in the community.
That as far as any notifications to us, it's only been once.
Okay.
So let me rephrase that. Notifications to us.
So when you say that you would check, I mean, I guess it's kind of hard to answer this, but that you would check a supervisor's ID, obviously it hasn't come up yet. What would happen if they objected to showing that ID?
There's a lot of moving parts and questions on that. Do they have a uniform? Or do they have a uniform that identifies them that we know is a uniform? Is it, and somebody who, I mean, I would question if somebody in full uniform asked to check another partner's, whether it be federal, local, or state ID, just to check the validity of it. I mean, it would be a question that we would have to, move up the chain. It was not something that, because we as local law enforcement, we're not going to interfere with them. We don't help them. We don't assist them. But I don't see why a federal agent, because they're federal agents, would not provide ID to somebody who is in uniform, if we're asking. I don't see that. But yet we have not been faced with that, so I would say they would, but if they don't, then it would be something that we would have to cross and push up the chain.
Okay, I mean, I think it'd be more likely they'd cooperate in our city because they know that we're a sanctuary city and what that stance is. Yeah, I think that's all. Thank you.
Commissioner Blau.
Thank you,
Vice Chair
Chair.
Blau.
Oh, yes. Thank you, Chair. Continuing on that thread, so, one of the effects, intended or otherwise, with the enforcement actions that we're seeing from ICE and other federal agents across the country, I think is an intentional chilling effect. So I'm asking, what can we say to victims of other crimes in the city and in the community, or witnesses of crimes, that may be scared to come forward about crimes that have happened to them or things that they've witnessed to the sheriff, owing to potentially their immigration status?
We don't check immigration status. That's not even a question we ask. They're a victim, they're a victim. We do not, and even, so let's say somebody is arrested and there is an ICE detainer, for example, and that's what they're called, an ICE detainer. We don't notify ICE, we don't tell them, we tell that individual, here, you have an ICE detainer, we give them a copy of it, and that's it. There is nothing that we do when we pull people over, we contact them because they're a victim. That ICE immigration status has never been something that we ask. So I would hope that the community is comfortable enough with us, the city, with our deputies here, that is not something that we ever have asked, and we will never ask their immigration status.
Okay, thank you. And a victim of a crime, they can still press forward with charges as well?
Absolutely. Even the judicial system, we don't prosecute, we don't question their immigration status. You're a victim, you're a victim, whether it be from a local law enforcement and the DA. They don't check on status.
Great, thank you. And then a couple of questions regarding the public safety equipment. I know that we were pending a drone policy update within the department. I don't know if maybe I missed anything on that, but is there any update on revisions to that policy to enable that technology?
We have not received an update from our department, but official update, but I know that they were in the process of writing a new policy, which mimics what we had as a unit order. So I know that they're in the process, and there's a couple of steps that they have to do. So they have to go to the COC, they have to go through our Office of Constitutional Policing. So there's a lot of, it's not just writing the policy, it's going to all these different entities, and then once they've all agreed, then it comes down and said that we have a new policy. But I know that they're really, really close. I mean, I spoke to one of the commanders, and it's written, and they're starting their presentation.
Got it. Okay, thank you. And thank you for coming to these events, many community events, to help engage with the community and maintain that sense of trust. I really appreciate it.
We're here, and we're here to have a conversation, even though sometimes, but on this instance, like the federal government, whether we agree or disagree with what they're doing, but having these conversations is that how we're going to be able to move forward.
Great. Thank you so much.
Of course.
Yeah, I just want to jump in on the ICE question. When you mentioned that there was only one incident that was known or reported, which is the one that we all probably know of because it was recorded and probably public. Is it helpful for other incidents to be reported? What would you do with that? Because I know of two others, one on my street, they're both actually on Harper, one of a construction site and the other a residence. With their gardeners, and I'm just curious.
I mean, call the station so we can, because I know that the Palm, when it was quick, they were in and out. So even by the time we respond, most likely they're going to be gone. Call the station, because we're keeping track of that. We're keeping track of whether we verified if there's a video, because based on the video we were determined that they were Border Patrol. It was a righteous federal government, and because we've seen that individual in other different raids. So call the station and just say, hey, but then don't, here's the double-edged sword on that. There's been incidents where it's our department conducting a search warrant, and we have gotten calls saying, hey, it's ICE. No, it's not ICE, it's us. So just call us and we can confirm or deny if it's us. Because there's been a couple of incidents that it's been us, and they said that it was ICE. Or our Met team, they drive a white car that's no placards. Sometimes there's been misunderstanding that we're assisting ICE, but it's our Met team.
Right.
So, and again, just having the communication. No, it's not ICE. It's these, because other units come into our, for example, our narcotics division comes in here, and they don't have black and whites. They have slick cars, but they do have sheriff in the back. So, and usually we have a black and white that is system. So call us and we can, check the validity whether or not it's ICE or us.
Yeah, and I think we're all sympathetic to that too, and people not distinguishing necessarily will say that you're not wearing masks to conceal your faces. So I think that's one, easy way that we can determine if it's, our sheriffs or ICE. Just going back to traffic quickly, the calls that you receive on hotspots, are you tracking those in any way, or are they just, you're randomly addressing them?
No, our traffic division has a list of calls. Like anytime, like here, when I'm in city council and somebody is requesting for additional patrols, I send that to traffic division while I'm sitting here, and then our traffic units add that to their list. So there's a list of rotating hotspots, and then there's those new ones just to enforce. They go, they spend a day, they spend a few hours, and then they might go back a different day. But there's the ones that are common hotspots that are, I want to say, on the loop of rotation that they do, because we have 2 mortar units. So even though they do an amazing job, you know, they're not here 24/7.
Got it. And so I think our job as liaisons to those appropriate commissions would be ensuring that information gets to them. Correct? Thank you. Commissioner Post.
Thank you. Thank you for the updates. Just wanted to express my condolences for the 3 officers that did die in the explosion, as already stated. I know that must have been hard amongst everything else that you all are already doing. To continue on the ICE piece, I know Commissioner Eng kind of asked my question, and there are, I know, some bills moving through the California legislature, I think specifically around identifying and around the masking. Even if those things were to pass, and I know there's also lawsuits around the sanctuary city policies and things like that, does that really change, would that really change any enforcement or interactions that you all have with those federal agents? Because I think citizens and folks want you to get involved on behalf of them, per se, and so I know that's not really gonna be possible, but I just wanted to see if that would, if you
No,
could
we
confirm that.
remain neutral.
Yeah.
You know, again, the only time that we would assist the federal government is if they're being attacked.
Yeah.
If they're being like any other individual.
Yeah.
Once it remains that it's what we say code 4, then our involvement is no longer there.
Yeah, and this may be more for Danny, but is the city ever in direct communication? I know it's like Churla and some of those other groups that have started to form almost rapid response groups to when someone is notified about ICE or when things are alerted. There are folks that want to be there and be present for those folks. I know a lot of the things that the city put forward in the item, I think that was either a council or 2 ago, there was 6 items I think the city put together, including WeHo funds for folks, or WeHo responds to help fund some of the legal actions and things like that, and we've joined lawsuits, but just wanted to see if there is any other direct communication with those groups that we do in a rapid response type fashion, and if not, can you just kind of talk about what the city has done or what that item that passed the council was?
Yeah, so the item, actually, I was on vacation, so I wasn't in attendance that one council meeting, but I am getting up to speed on that, and as you mentioned, Commissioner Post, there was an item that was brought forward by the council at that time, and so there were a number of initiatives and direction that council had provided to the city council, and so I know those things are still being discussed internally. I don't know specifically as it relates to the groups that have kind of formed, but I know there have been discussions internally about that. So as soon as I have a little more information, kind of get it up to date, be sure to share that.
Okay, awesome, thank you.
Sure.
I have a few more just popping around as well. This is kind of ICE and then leads into Fountain. Is there any chance, I know we have this real-time watch center now, we have, I think the ALPR cameras are up and running. I wanted to ask about the Fountain Hit and Run. I know that was largely an iPhone user video. Is that something in the future that those cameras can catch or detect? I know they're very much license plate focused, but even afterwards, if someone wants to grab that license plate, can we then plug that into the ALPR system and have that car flagged when it comes through?
That's a tool that is definitely used a lot for investigative purposes. So without getting into the details of what they do with that, absolutely. That is, even if they didn't have a license, we can, look at make and models and things like that. So yeah, those are very helpful to the post, incident for investigative purposes. Absolutely.
Yeah, and I know it might be further off, but I think leveraging something like that for ICE notification is something that citizens would like. I know it might not be something that we can dedicate the resources to, but I think if we have the tools, we might as well be using them for the things that the city wants to. And then the last thing on the bike piece, I know I'll have more comments about it, but one of the attendees at the memorial was talking to me and asked about a dedicated hotline to report bicycle incidents specifically, or incidents with pedestrians. Is there a specific number that those folks should call? Is it just the non-emergency number when they see something like that? Or if it is more of an accident, should they just call 911?
Accident, absolutely 911. And if they have just like regular concerns, they can just call the regular line, or they can always, if I can send me an email or just call. If you call the station, and if it's not something that we need to dispatch a unit, they'll transfer the call to me, and then we'll get the traffic division, or it'll go to the traffic division. So just call the station.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Commissioner Nickel.
Thank you, Chair. Sergeant Duran, Acting Captain Lapkin, good to see you. The chilling effect that was mentioned by the Vice Chair, this is really important, and I want to just say again what you said, that the West Hollywood Sheriff's Station will not ask the immigration status of a person who comes in to report a crime.
Correct.
Now, this is super important. It's not just because you're a victim of a crime and you're scared to go in. I'm even more worried about the bad guys who are going to prey on that community, knowing that they're afraid to go and report the crimes that they're going to commit on them.
Yeah, immigration status is not something we ask.
Good. I'm glad to hear that. And I want people who are in this situation to understand that.
Absolutely.
About that, if somebody does pull you over and they claim to be ICE, what are your rights? Can you ask for a badge, an ID number? What do you do?
You can ask for their ID. Again, here is where, are they in uniform? Are they not in uniform? There's, and ICE would normally not pull you over for a traffic violation.
Right.
So and again, I'm not going to speak to what their procedures are because I don't know, but ICE will not normally pull you over for a traffic violation. So normally they would be either conducting a search warrant, a warrant for you because they have an ICE warrant, or they'll go to any open public place like they did at Palm.
Right.
So yeah, I would, again, if somebody's claiming to be ICE and they're pulling you over, do they have a uniform? There's a lot of million questions that come with that. Are they uniform? You can ask for ID.
Right.
Do they have a badge with, heart badge? Do they not?
Right. Pulling over, approaching any of these terrible scenarios we've seen. I did want to ask you about, there were arrests on Santa Monica Boulevard on the 24th, I believe it was. It was outside the sheriff's station. Many people sent me videos, and it involved Beverly Hills Police Department as well. Can you talk about what happened?
Yeah, I'll touch on that. So that was a Beverly Hills incident that kind of spilled into our city, essentially. They were conducting surveillance on somebody that came into our city. They witnessed them commit a crime. They tried to detain those people, and then they asked for our assistance because those people ran from them. So it was kind of chaotic out there. You probably saw a lot of sheriff's department, a lot of Beverly Hills out there. It was quite the scene. It was a little chaotic for us because there was two different agencies working together, but it was primarily a Beverly Hills team that was working on something, and we assisted them, and it occurred in our city.
Okay, thank you.
There were 7 arrests.
So if there were 7 arrests, what were the arrests for?
They were part of the incident that the Beverly Hills witnessed. So just to know that with collaboration with Beverly Hills and the deputies, we were able to apprehend the 7 individuals. That case is being handled by Beverly Hills.
Okay, thank you.
Commissioner Eng.
Thank you, Chair. Captain, can you, going back to, I think, what Commissioner Nichols said about getting pulled over, can you speak to what advice you would give to anyone witnessing these abductions, like what they should do? I know in the Santa Palm situation, there was a woman using quite a bit of profanity, which I understand, but obviously it's not what should happen. So I would like you to speak on what legally the public can do in these situations.
I can't give you legal advice, but I can tell you, do not interfere. Be a great witness. Videos, again, if you interfere, there's a different threshold for federal interference than it is for local government. So that's why earlier when you asked about checking IDs, I am not going to interfere. I'm going to let them do what they're going to do, and then I'm going to ask for IDs. So my recommendations: don't interfere, be a good witness.
All right, and again, it is a civil right that we have to film as long as we don't obstruct. And then switching gears back to the traffic hot spots, I know that Gardner and Lexington is one because I walk past there regularly, and once a week I see a motorcycle cop. Something that I think is interesting, though, is I saw a scooter run a red light, and I've seen, or the stop signs, and I've seen cars, but it seems like they're only stopping cars. In fact, the day that the scooter did it, I thought, okay, cool, he's gonna, and he didn't. So I'm wondering if that's if the operations are different, or if he just overlooked it that day.
I couldn't speak to what he did, but yeah, I mean, he can definitely cite for scooter because they have to abide by all traffic laws.
Suggest you remind them about that because we know that'll make the community happy. Thank you.
Commissioner Post?
Yes, sorry, I forgot one question related to Vice Chair Blau's question. I know while that policy change is ongoing, there was another offer from the Sheriff's Department to provide the drone as it currently sits within the Sheriff's Department policies countywide. Is that program now active? Have we called that, or are we able to use that program that has already been approved?
Yes, we can. We have the drone. The drone's been delivered, but because of the incident of our 3 partners that passed away, the SCB, the arson explosives, that's who actually oversees the program. So we want to wait, not to overwhelm them with, just kind of give them a little bit of grace until they do to the funerals, because it's that team that's going to be handling the overwatch. So they delivered, actually the deputies went to go pick up the drone. The drone has been, we have that, but unfortunately because of that incident, we want to give them the grace at least to go through the funerals, and then we'll start. If we do need one, absolutely, we will call it and we'll use it, but we want to make sure that we want to be mindful that they're the ones that are overseeing the program.
Yeah, absolutely. No, definitely understand that. And I think for moving forward, just making sure that we can get that agenda item as soon as possible afterwards, I think is important, just to make sure we can provide the public with that update. Knowing that it's not going to be an immediate update, I think it'd be great to, as the council directed, to use communications, and I know really make like a social post about it and actually like put out that this is informational item on the drone program at the Public Safety Commission. So I'm excited to make sure that we can have a little bit more lead time.
And we are going to, as soon as we're ready to launch, and again, we were, but unfortunately this is, you know, not the time, I would say, just to, you know, because they're the unit that's overseeing the program. But yes, absolutely, before we launch off and we're ready to go, we're just definitely gonna put something out on all the platforms.
All right, thank you.
And just, I want to just add to that too, for the community and for the commission. And so what is being proposed and what Commissioner Post had mentioned that was discussed by the City Council is completely different than the program that the city was pursuing, which is referred to as Drone as First Responder. So this is not a Drone as First Responder program. So I just want to make sure that, clarify that what the city would essentially have at the West Hollywood Sheriff Station is a drone that would be utilized currently following the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department policy for the use of drones. And so it's very, very limited and it's very specific. And so the benefit of us having a drone at the station is we wouldn't have to wait for our Special Enforcement Bureau, SEB, which is a SWAT team through the Sheriff's Department, to have to come to the city to deploy a drone. So they can do that now, but essentially, as Acting Captain Lapkin had mentioned, they're the ones that facilitate that. So what the Sheriff's Department offered as a part of that discussion is having a drone here at the station, and obviously there's staff that have already been trained, and so they would still need to contact SEB, get approval, and then deploy the drone from essentially a patrol vehicle, patrol unit, at that very limited specific incident, such as, let's say, a barricaded suspect or an active shooter type situation. So I just want to make sure that I'm being very clear that it's completely different. The Sheriff's Department already has the ability to utilize that. So the benefit of what the Sheriff's Department, again, offered the city in the interim while they're working through changing their department policy is having a drone here at the station, which would be more efficient, obviously, right? If we did have a situation, they got approval, then they could deploy the drone, right, in that instance. So, but we'll cover that essentially, but I just wanted to make sure I clarified that.
Thank you, Commissioners. Any other questions? And I also, before you go, and I think before we go to public comments, just want to express my condolences again to you all, to the department, for Deputies Eklund, Lemus, and Osborne. We know it was a big event, so I just wanted to say that.
Thank you.
Do you have any public comments?
Yes, we have one public comment. Kevin Burton, if you want to approach the podium, you'll have 3 minutes.
Kevin Burton, West Hollywood. I just wanted to thank the Sheriff's Department, Acting Captain Latkin and Sergeant Duran for their support of the Bicycle Coalition's vigil and march and rally in honor and memoriam for Blake Ackerman, the bicyclist killed by a vehicle on Fountain Avenue. We appreciated the escort, keeping us all safe as we walked to City Hall. And also, during our rally at City Hall, thank you, Sergeant Duran, for updating everybody on the investigation into the driver who had been apprehended, who is suspected of having hit and killed Blake Ackerman. We appreciate your support. Thank you.
Thank you, Kevin. And that is all the public comments.
Okay, next up is items from staff.
Thank you, Chair and members of the Commission. We'd like to invite you and all members of the community to join us for National Night Out next week on August 5th. This nationwide event promotes public safety and neighborhood partnerships. Throughout the city, there will be 10 events hosted that evening. It's a great opportunity to meet your neighbors and public safety partners. For full details about the events happening near you, please visit www.weho.org/NNO. Next month at the August Public Safety Commission meeting, we will bring forward an item regarding the city's Neighborhood Watch program and invite the Neighborhood Watch group captains to attend and share their input during public comment. The City of West Hollywood is encouraging community members to review updated fire hazard severity zone maps from CAL FIRE, the state of California agency responsible for fire prevention, protection, and resource management. As part of the state-level adoption of updated fire hazard severity zone maps, the City of West Hollywood is providing links to the fire hazard severity zone maps to the community and is required by CAL FIRE to facilitate a 30-day public comment period. The public comment period allows community members to provide their concerns and feedback on the CAL FIRE maps, but it does not alter or change the maps that have been established by CAL FIRE for West Hollywood. Please visit the city's Engage WeHo public engagement platform for additional information at engage.weho.org/fire maps. The last day public comment will be collected regarding the fire hazard severity zones is Thursday, July 31st at midnight. This concludes the updates from the Public Safety Division. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up is public comments. Do we have any public comments?
I don't see any public comments in chambers. I will check Zoom. Michael Vojkolevich, I see that you are still on. Did you wish to speak during the last public comment section?
I hope you can hear me.
Yes, we can hear you.
So again, good evening. My name is Michael Vojkolevich, West Hollywood resident. Senior age resident whose mobility is based either by walking or by modes of transportation, e-bike or e-scooter. I want to concur with 3 of the speakers in first round public comment, that being Kathy Blavis, Stephanie Harker, Lynn Garden. There are rules of decorum for meetings such as this. Sadly, those rules do not extend outside to the public. Even worse, I'm regretful that some within Coalition of LA use personal offense to a differing opinion. Now, I get it. The Bike Coalition doesn't want to recognize either e-bikes or e-scooters. I wish this city would. A bike lane should be called something above and beyond. And I ask these commissioners, even though it might not be within your specific purview, public safety is public safety. All that I ask, especially since National Night coming up, is to have a very honest conversation with those members of the public who ask you questions about what went behind the thinking to the proposed bike lane. I travel on a daily basis back and forth that intersection of Gardner and Fountain. Stayed out of the competing, differing opinions, but when somebody's death is used, try to get their opinion to be the one that gets attention. This is when you have to step in. And it's unfortunate that it has come to this. There are other thoroughfares east-west which make way more sense than Fountain Avenue. And I would be more than happy to have a conversation with any commissioner on public safety as to my rationale, which is based upon real-time experience every single day. I thank you for your time, and I congratulate commissioners have been elected both chair and vice chair.
Thank you, Michael. And that is all for the public comments.
Next up is commissioner comments. Any comments? Commissioner Eng.
I wasn't going to, okay. So I'm going to start with this, and that is the sentiment of community has come up a few times this evening. And I think it's really essential that we all take that to heart. I think one of the things that's giving me hope is seeing the communities fighting back against actions that are illegal. And also within that, there was a report in Newsweek that 20 pets have been surrendered to shelters from families that have been abducted. And I know that that doesn't seem like a big thing in the scheme of things, but I think it's worth mentioning because the repercussions of what is happening is only starting to be known. And I think that the repercussions that we're going to be learning are going to be far worse than people's pets being taken. But I do hope that people will consider adopting or fostering right now, because that is a need. And then next, I want to say that the two of the gentlemen who worked at Santa Palm that I read about were a gentleman by the name of Sylvester Jimenez Gomez and a man simply identified as Juan. Mr. Gomez had worked in this community for 30 years. And I think right now what's really essential is to point out that probably most people didn't know him or didn't bother to understand that this person had been in the community for 30 years. So I just want to say that I think it's super important right now that we maintain that sense of community, and I'm going to encourage people to go out and make sure that you keep an eye on your neighbors, that you meet your neighbors, that you know who's in the community, and that we support one another, because at this time, really, that's what we have, is the strength in community and our numbers. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. And Commissioner Hallman?
Thank you, Chair. I just wanted to congratulate you as our new chair and Vice Chair Blau as our vice chair. I think we're in great hands. I know you both will do an amazing job, as well as our most recently appointed commissioners. I'm happy to be here with this group of individuals, so thank you.
Thank you very much, Commissioner Blau.
Thank you, Chair. I also want to take a moment to thank our presenters tonight and I counted 11 public speakers, 11 different public speakers that came out tonight. So thank you all for coming out and talking and being part of our community. I want to recognize the deep concern that we're all sharing about these incidents on Fountain with Blake, and then as well there was a separate hit and run on Crescent Heights and Fountain involving a scooter just a few days later as well. These are unfortunate and painful reminders of the risks on our streets, and I think we all have to remain focused on improving infrastructure and enforcement to better protect all road users and pedestrians. Regarding the ice activity in our area, and wow, what a month it's been. I'm heartened to see the city's response to quickly inform residents of their rights. We have to continue to ensure that everyone in our community feels safe and supported regardless of immigration status. As we talked about and clarified quite importantly earlier, if you are the victim of a crime or you see a crime happening, do not remain quiet in fear of ICE. Report it, please. The sheriff will not ask your immigration status if you're a witness or a victim. I want to close by expressing my sincere appreciation itself for the work of the Sheriff's Department. The recent incident at the training center only further underscores the inherent dangers of the job. Our deputies often operate in a complex and sensitive environment, serving a community that right now may feel anxious about federal law enforcement, uncertain about where to turn to for help, and at times quick to assign blame. In the face of these challenges, our deputies continue to show up with professionalism, compassion, and a strong commitment to keeping West Hollywood safe. I am very thankful for their service. Thank you to everybody in the community here working to keep West Hollywood safe, inclusive, and resilient. And thank you to my fellow commissioners for the vote of confidence as vice chair.
Thank you, Vice Chair Blau. Commissioner Post.
Yeah, thank you. A few items. I know I mentioned a few on the way, but congrats. Thank you to our new chair and vice chair. Fountain, like I said, I did attend the Memorial Ghost Bike and the March for Blake, and just want to thank WehoTV Co. and Safe Streets for All who organized that and put that together. There was a really good showing. I'm right there on Hampton between Gardner and Crescent, and so it was great to see the community come out in support of Blake. As it relates to the ICE raids, again, thank you for my fellow commissioners uplifting Sylvester and Juan. I think the city's been doing a great job. Mayor Byers doing lots of press around this and just making sure that the city is seen as a visible ally and fighter and supporter of these communities, I think is really important. And so I think continuing to see what the city has done and continues to do, I think will be really important, and I know we're all supportive of that. One of the pieces that I did want to have a little bit more of a direct conversation that I mentioned earlier in the evening was the WeHo Fire Response Report. I'm not sure if all of my fellow commissioners saw that was an item that did come through to the council. It was drafted, I think, by Danny and fellow other departments as well. And I would just like to see that as something that would come to this commission and agendize, even if it's just a receive and file of that actual report, as I know that was something we talked about earlier this year to see. If that is a possibility, I would love to motion to have that come to the council.
If you want to make a motion, Danny, we can.
Yeah, I mean, if there's
agenda.
consensus from the commission, it would be a receive and file. There would not be any action that the commission would be taking as it relates to that item. Our communications department actually spearheaded that in terms of the draft and the final document, and they did an exceptional job, and there was a tremendous amount of input and feedback from all departments, essentially. Obviously, there were some departments that had more information as it relates to kind of the response, but it was a very collaborative and lengthy staff report, and so we can certainly reach out to the communications department to see if they're available, or if not, they're not more than happy to place that item on the agenda, but it would just be kind of reiteration, a copy and paste of that same item, essentially. So if that's something that the commission wishes that they'd like to have on a future agenda, we can certainly do that.
Would you like to add that?
Second.
Sure. See, everybody, I see the
All those
heads
in
nodding,
favor?
so
Aye.
I think we're good. Yeah, so we can certainly do that. Yeah.
Thank you.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you for that. And then for the drone piece, I appreciate the updates there, and I think we'll continue, obviously, have a future item on that. And I think just in the context of what's happening, I just think it's important that we can be as transparent as possible with the public around any type of surveillance. I know surveillance has already been used by ICE during these raids. They've been able to access Medi-Cal data. There's lots of things that I worry about of how some of these technologies can be used, and I think just making a space for the public to even voice that, even if these things are still moving forward. I think just letting folks conversate and have a discussion around these things is important, and so I'm looking forward to continuing to push that conversation forward and ensure that all those voices are heard. A few last takeaway items for tonight. If folks also didn't see, AG Banta released the 2025 Pride Report around hate crimes. I think it's really valuable for us all to read just how law enforcement goes about investigating those hate crimes, especially for our city. So if you haven't read that, definitely take a look. And then obviously National Night Out was already talked about, and the August 19th Streetscape project. But there's also, if you haven't seen, the Plummer Park changes as well, which I think all of our parks are great, and we want to make sure they're maintained safely. And those two events are on Saturdays, August 2nd and 9th in Plummer Park from 9 to 11 and 1 to 3, just around specific topics of how they are looking to change that park as well. So I think that's all my updates, and yeah.
Thank you, Commissioner Post. Commissioner Nickel.
Thank you, Chair, and congratulations to our Chair and new Vice Chair. Since the last meeting, I had our first meeting of the District Attorney's LGBTQ Advisory Board. It's a really good group. I think we're going to do good work. So if anyone in the community has issues that they would like to bring to my attention that I should discuss on the board, please, you can just use my commissioner email. It's commissionernickle, N-I-C-K-L-E, @gmail.com. National Night Out, I have to mention it. I look forward to seeing everyone on Tuesday the 5th. The information is on the website. There are at least 10 events across the city, and it's going to be a lot of fun. And also, earlier, Anita mentioned that the West Hollywood West residents did have a meeting. They had had concerns. They came to the last meeting about issues in their community. And thank you so much, Acting Captain Lapkin and Sergeant Duran, for being there and for answering their questions. And I spoke to a lot of them afterwards, and they felt a lot better. So that's what makes our city so special, that we have direct access and that you're always there to help. So thank you. And a little way that we can give back, I know that on the 6th, there is the West Hollywood Sheriff's Foundation fundraiser. So it's from 6 to 10, and tickets are only $25. They go to benefit our deputies for equipment and training, and tickets are limited. They're on Eventbrite, so I have my tickets. You should get yours. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Nickel. Commissioner Pilarski.
Thank you, Chair. Congratulations, and congratulations to our new Vice Chair. I also wanted to thank my fellow commissioners for the liaison with the Transportation and Mobility Commission. It's been something that Commissioner Hallman's been talking about, and I'm excited to represent this commission with both my professional knowledge and being a liaison for the community. So I wanted to take a moment and just say his name one more time. I know he was taken too soon, Blake Ackerman, and there are things that our community can do, and we can come together. We've been trying to come together, so let's do it. The status quo is killing us, and change is hard. Big feelings are hard. Frustration is tough to sit with, but there is space for all of us, and we all do need to learn to share. It is not just cyclists, so I don't want this to become a bikes versus non-bikes conversation. We all have space in our streets, and the streets need to be designed with people at the center of them. I don't have all of the statistics in front of me, but those conversations will happen at the August 19th meeting. So please come and do the reading. Bring your neighbors, engage with your neighbors, have hard conversations with them, with people with differing opinions, and we can all come to an agreement. I did want to make a note that there are other commission meetings happening. August 20th, Transportation and Mobility Commission, and then also August 26th, the Public Facilities Commission will also hear about the Fountain Avenue updates and safer streets design. Just a call out to Disability Pride Month. I wanted to thank Yola for her comments earlier tonight. A reminder that functional independence matters for all of us. So sidewalks that are the right size, detectable warning units on sidewalks, curb cuts on sidewalks, bag buttons that make noises when you cross the street. All of those things matter to us. So thank you, Yola, for reminding us that these are important, and functional independence matters all the way into our 90s and 100s. And then lastly, just wanted to echo the excitement for National Night Out. I think this is a really good opportunity to exchange phone numbers with your neighbors if you haven't done so already, and also community engagement when it comes to fire and emergency response. And if anything were to happen to you in your house, it would be important to have your neighbors' phone numbers. So thank you again. And oh, sorry, one last moment. For Tally in the back, thank you for coming and being a woman in power and making a difference for things that matter to women. I appreciate it. All right, thanks.
Thank you. Yeah, I just want to thank all of our speakers for tonight. I also am very humbled and honored to be given this opportunity. So thank you. I really am excited to continue working with all of you. I think we've got a pretty special group of people here. I also want to just acknowledge and provide condolences to the family of Blake Ackerman. And I think it was one of many examples that demonstrates something has to be done on Fountain. We may not all agree on what that looks like right now, but I think we're moving in that direction and can all agree that something needs to change. So I'm looking forward to that August meeting, as well as National Night Out. And unless there are any other comments?
Chair, I did want to mention, and was remiss during staff comments, and I know it's come up a couple times, and we've mentioned it, but the city does have a web page on the city's website that is titled Know Your Rights, and it has a tremendous amount of information, copies to links of city's press releases, information from the Los Angeles County Office of Immigrant Affairs, and other resources as well. So again, I just want to put that out there, and I think we should continue to do that at the will of the commission. during our monthly meetings. But please, if you're unaware of it, you can just Google search it or go to the city's website in the search engine and just type in Know Your Rights. It'll populate on there, and there's a lot of helpful information there.
Thank you for that. I think with that, we are adjourned. Thank you.
These stories have lived in the hearts and in the memories for people, but now they get to live in a permanent monument here in the city, a city that has for so long been at the forefront of fighting this